Algebra!
Hello everyone to a new video about algebra. Today we're going to talk about fractions again. We're going to do more practice with fractions. We had a video before where we talked about what a fraction is and how to add fractions, and today we're just going to do a little bit more practice. I'm here with Natalie. Hi Natalie.
Hello, aloha.
Aloha Natalie. And we have a very special guest. Poppy is here. Hi Poppy.
Hello, fans of algebra.
Hello Poppy. How are you doing today?
I am good. How about you?
I'm excellent. It's such a nice day out, and I'm dying to go out and mulch my yard.
And I'm dying to go outside and mulch with you.
Oh, that's nice.
Unless there's bugs.
Unless there's bugs. Yes, I hope not. Poppy, I hear you are a world expert in adding fractions.
Yes, I am the best in my class.
Oh, fantastic. Then I have the right person for this video. Okay, let's get started. So if you didn't watch it before, we made a video, a very nice video about what a fraction is, so I suggest you watch that first. And in that, we went through a couple of very important rules about fractions. One of them is, Natalie, do you want to read up there?
We can add or subtract fractions only when they have the same denominator.
Only, that's very important, so that we can add fractions, they have to be talking the same language. So if you have a fraction like a half and a fourth.
Dad, look, you made a new fraction. You cut the 2.5.
Kind of. Okay, so if you want to talk about a half and a fourth, they don't know, they are like talking Chinese and English. They have to speak the same language. So what we do is translate them to a common denominator so we can talk about them using the same denominator, and that's how you can add them. How do you get fractions to be in one common denominator? With this very important rule. Poppy, do you want to read this one for us?
We can multiply the numerator and the denominator of a fraction by the same number to get an equivalent fraction.
Yeah, so you can multiply or divide, actually, the numerator and the denominator, both of them by the same number to get to an equivalent fraction. So that is very important because it allows us to do things like this. So if I have, for example, 1/2, what I did before above is I multiplied by 2 and I multiplied by 2 here to get to another fraction that is equivalent, but this one is talking about fourths. Poppy, do you want to multiply a half by some other number to get to another equivalent fraction? What do you want to multiply by?
4.
By 4? Okay, so if I multiply by 4, I have to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 4. 1 times 4 is how much?
4.
That's just 4. How much 2 times 4?
8.
8. And you get two fractions that are all equivalent. A half, 2/4, and 4/8. They're all equivalent fractions. And depending on the problem, you might want to use one or the other. Okay, very good. Let's try to solve an example of adding fractions. So here I have one such example, 2/3 and 1/5. And I want to know how much that is when you add them together. Okay, Poppy, would you like to help me here? How would you add these two fractions?
So first, I would set them up like you did before.
Okay, so I'm going to write them here because I want to be able to talk about these. So, okay, so what would you do with them now?
I would multiply them by 15.
By 15, or do you want a common denominator of 15?
The common denominator.
Yeah. So the common denominator that you're going to put them is 15. Why did you pick 15 as the common denominator?
So 3 times 5 equals 15. So if I did that, because that's 3 times 5 equals 15. So if I did that, then I would know that would be 15 in total.
Okay. So one way that I think about this also is that, well, I take this denominator and I take this denominator, and if you multiply them together, that is a common denominator that is going to work. Why? Because we want 2/3 is saying we're going to divide things in 3 parts, and 1/5 says to me that we're going to divide things in 5 parts. So we need a number that is divisible by 3 and by 5. And if you multiply 3 and 5 together, that number 15 will be divisible by 3 and 5, because 15, Natalie, can I divide 15 in 3 equal parts?
Yes.
How so?
It's 3 times 5, so 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3.
I'm going to divide it first in 3 equal parts, so it's 5 plus 5 plus 5, and then what you say is that it also can be divided in 5 equal parts, which is 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. Okay, very good. So, Poppy, if I want to write 2/3 as a fraction with a 15 in the denominator, I multiply 3 by 5. What do I have to do to the 2 up here?
You will also divide it by 3. You will divide it by 3 instead.
Do you want to multiply 2 by 5? To get this numerator? So you remember that if we want 2/3 to get an equivalent fraction, we have to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the same number. So we should multiply by 5. And how much is 2 times 5?
2 times 5 equals 10.
That is 10. Very good. So now, how about a fifth? I want to write an equivalent fraction to a fifth. So how much do I have to multiply 5 by to get to 15?
3.
By 3. So what should I do to the 1 up here to get to an equivalent fraction?
You should use 3 also.
Yeah, so I should also multiply by 3, so I'm going to get here 3 over 15. Very good. So then what we found out is that 2/3 plus a fifth can be rewritten. 2/3 is 10 over 15, and 1/5 is 3 over 15. And now they talk the same language. They're both 15ths. So can I write the sum? So how much is 10 15ths plus 3 15ths? 13 15ths, and that would be the answer. Okay, very good. I think that makes sense to me. Poppy, I'm going to explain really quickly one other way that you could think about this, which is that when we're talking about thirds, we're talking, say I have a cake or something and I have to divide it in 3 parts. Okay, so this here is a third of the cake. But we're talking also about fifths. Okay, a fifth of the cake. By the way, 2/3 of the cake would be all of this, 2 of the thirds. In fifths, I can divide the cake in 5 parts and talk about a fifth. Okay, that would be that much of the cake. And if you want to talk about thirds and fifths, what you can do is divide the cake. I'm going to draw it much bigger this time. I'm going to divide the cake in 3 parts, but then also divide each part in 5 additional parts. Okay, because then I'm going to be able to divide my cake in 3 parts, but also in 5 parts. Okay, so if I do that, then what I get is there are 15 parts in total, and 1/3 or 2/3 of the cake is here. So 2/3 of the cake, if you count 15ths, there are 10 of these divisions. Okay, while a fifth of the cake is 3 of them. So there's here 3 more. Okay, and that is 3/15 would be that. So in total, I have 10 15ths and 3 more. And that is in total 10 over 15th plus 3 over 15th is 13 over 15, which is the same answer you got up here. So it's all good. It works out the same way. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Awesome. Okay. But I like your way because this algebraically, like this, with algebra, we always get the right answer numerically, and you don't have to, if there are too many subdivisions, then the picture is going to get really messy very soon. So this way you did it works very well. Okay, let's do another example. Maybe Natalie can help us a little bit also here. Let's try to subtract this time 3/4 and 2/5. So, Natalie, what would be a common denominator that we can use for these fractions?
Well, to find out how to get it, I usually do, like my dad said, if this is the Natalie way.
The Natalie way.
I multiply the two denominators because if you multiply them, that means they're both they both can be added to that.
Divisible by each one of them. So how much is 4 times 5?
20.
So 4 times 5 is 20. Is that going to be your common denominator?
Yeah, 20.
20. Okay, so I'm going to write both in terms of 20s before I do any more addition or subtraction. Okay. By the way, so as Natalie said, this is what I think is also, I'm trying to find a number that is divisible by 4 and divisible by 5. So 4 times 5 works. 20 works, that is divisible by 4 and is divisible by 5. Sometimes if you multiply the two denominators, you don't get the smallest number such that that works, but that always works. And then at the end, you might want to see if you can simplify the fraction a little bit. But anyway.
As long as it works.
Yeah. So maybe now Poppy. So if I want to write 3/4 as a fraction in terms of divided by 20, I have to multiply and divide. I have to multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number. How much did I multiply 4 by to get to 20?
5.
By 5. So Natalie, what should I do to the 3?
You should multiply it by 5, which is 15.
I should also multiply by 5, and 3 times 5 is 15. Awesomeness. Okay, and Poppy, I have to multiply 3 and 2 by the same number to get to an equivalent fraction. What did I multiply by 5 by to get to 20?
You will use 4.
4. 5 times 4 is 20, so how much is 2 times 4?
2 times 4 equals 8.
8. Very good. Then I think we're ready to subtract fractions because 3/4 minus 2/5, which one? One is talking in English, the other one's talking in Spanish. They don't know each other, what they're saying. However, if we write them as 15 over 20, because 3 over 4 is equivalent to 15 over 20, and 2 over 5, I write it as 8 over 20, then now they're talking the same language, say German, but they're both talking in German and they can get each other. How much is 15 over 20 minus 8 over 20?
7.
7. It is 7 over 20, and that will be the answer that we were looking for. Okay, 7 over 20 would be the result. Very good, Poppy, and very good, Natalie.
Gracias.
Yeah. Very good, very good. Okay, so finally, we're going to be going back to solving equations. All right, so now the equation has fractions in it. So, Poppy, how would you try to solve here for x?
So,
What could we do?
So I personally would.
Okay.
I would, like, let's say, write it down again.
Okay.
We'll write it down the way we did on the 2/3 and the 1/5.
All right. So in the previous problem, you mean?
Yeah, the previous problem.
So you want to have this 2/5 on the other side. Can we do that? Can I remember that when you are adding something in an equation, it can go to the other side, subtracting, because we can subtract this number. 2/5 is a perfectly fine number. I can subtract it here and I can subtract it here. So I get a 0 on this side and it appears on the other side. So what happens is that plus 2/5 can go to the other side and it's going to appear here as minus 2/5, right?
Yes, I'm sorry, I forgot about that part.
Yeah. So that's how I explain it, and that's how it makes sense to me. I subtract minus 2/5 on both sides, and that is going to get me x equals 3/4 minus 2/5. And now we've just done that exact operation. It was right here. That 3/4 minus 2/5 is 7/20. So this is 7/20. So that is the solution. The x that works in this equation is 7/20. And we solved it using algebra and the same method we used when we just had whole numbers in the equation. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Very good. Okay, then I think we're done for today. Thank you so much, Poppy, for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me. And now, algebra fans, have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, everyone.
Algebra.
Everyone, goodbye. And have a very nice day. We'll see you in the next video.
Chirp.
Bye.
Chirp, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.